Walking the woods. How's everybody doing today? This is Prepping with Sarge. I'll do my intro while we're waiting to see if anybody wants to pop in and do a little chat. Let's see if we can make this a little bit more steady for y'all. I don't have a gimbal, so I apologize. If you get motion sickness, you may want to just listen. I'm trying to figure out a good gimbal. I got to get with my buddy Otto. He knows a lot more about that stuff than I do. But this is Prepping with Sarge. Sarge is not a military rank. It is not a police rank. Just a nickname. And we drop videos twice a week, at least. Always drop videos that are related to preparedness, wilderness survival, financial preparedness. I'll flip the camera here for a second here. I'm gonna show you while I'm over here. Anyways, hey Mrs. T, it's good to see you. I need to catch up on your channel. I've missed a few videos. It's good to see you. Hello from Cambodia. Hey, Drawing Live. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining in. I'm gonna flip the camera here. I'll show you guys something really cool. Hang on. All right. There we go. That there is bear corn, and it is a wild edible. It is, let me see if I can pull one up here. You can take a look at. I'm doing pretty good. How about you? So you can eat that chopped up and fried. It is actually when you see it at this point, it's already, when it grows out of the ground like that, life has definitely been busy. It's already 4 years old before it even comes out of the ground. And it has no green. It is a plant, but hey, Kentucky Survivalist, I'm doing pretty good. It has no green, it has no chlorophyll. So this actually likes shady spots usually under oak trees. There's a whole batch of it here. As you can see, it's kind of dying out for the springtime. But early spring is when you see that. Bear corn. So I drop videos twice a week, preparedness, survival. It's called bear corn. There's I'd have to look up the botanical name. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's commonly called bear corn, B-E-A-R. I got a video coming tonight on for silver and gold. If you are familiar with Bricktown Silver's channel, never heard of it? Yeah, it should grow there in the woods. Look under your oak trees this time of year. It's got to be pretty shady. They hate sunlight. Let's go down this way. I don't usually take you guys down this path. So if you follow Bricktown Silver and Inefficient Stacker, you're gonna want to check tonight's videos. It's gonna be a little fun. In fact, if I can, I'm gonna try to turn it into a premiere so we can chat a little bit. But I was gonna talk today a little bit about guerrilla gardening. I'm gonna see if more people jump in here. And there has been, I gotta probably watch my step here. The wildlife is really starting to wake up here in South Carolina. So I gotta periodically make sure I'm not stepping on a snake. But every day that I've come out here, there's been more and more, sometimes it's just squirrels and lizards. Sometimes it's been, saw a skink out here, which was really cool. We'll see what we see today. And there's a few people out here walking because there's a lot of buildings and offices and stuff around here. So there's a lot of people come here on their lunch break, and this time of year it gets pretty, wouldn't be unusual for us to encounter a few people while we're out here. So guerrilla gardening, let's put a little disclaimer on this first. So you guys know that everything I talk about on my channel, I would never encourage you to do anything illegal. I would never encourage you to break any laws. So anything that I talk about, any topic, is always like from a documentary type, just telling you about this kind of thing, and satirical, right? So I heard on NPR today that YouTube views satire differently. So my videos are always satire, okay? So guerrilla gardening, maybe you live in an area where you don't have access to your own land to plant on, right? Or maybe you live in one of those HOAs where you can't plant, like they have rules against tomatoes. Oh, thank you, Miss Southern Belle. I really appreciate that. Maybe your HOA just hates tomato plants because, tomato plants are bad or something, right? Guerrilla gardening is when people go out into areas that are not owned by them and will plant food, or sometimes flowers, but usually food, sometimes other things, which I'm not going to talk about that. And it is, in most areas of the country, it is illegal. It's great to see you too, Miss Southern Belle. Thank you for that shout out video you did. I really appreciated that. But there was a guy, and I'm blanking on the name. I should have looked it up before I went live. There's a guy that was out in California in the city. So I think he was outside of LA, that was basically made guerrilla gardening famous, because he did a lot of articles and went and did public speaking and did a lot of videos on basically how to do this, public parks or whatever. So the idea is that he, or maybe it was some people who are houseless, people who are displaced, or people who just didn't have an area to grow their own food, would go out there and to public lands, parks, whatever, try to find a spot that's not too well traveled, and maybe they plant some tomatoes or things like that. Hey, Plumber Stacker, good to see you. It's an interesting concept. I will confess that I have done this on a smaller scale in places where I've worked, right? So I may go out and, drop some pepper seeds behind where I work and things like that. Hey, Her Healthy Home, thanks for joining in. It's, not really going to get myself into too much trouble there. If anybody asks what I'm doing, just say, I threw some pepper seeds back there, no big deal. But where I am right now, obviously this is not land that I own. This is public land, so if I did this here, I would be breaking the law. So once again, I'm not encouraging anybody to break the law out there. But it's just an interesting survival concept to understand. Let me switch camera angle here a little bit. Oh, that's a lot of sun. It's an interesting survival concept to take in. Like if you've got a bug out location, right? If you're one of these guys, wow, got some cool woodpecker activity. Check this out. Guerrilla gardening back in the days. I used to do a bit of guerrilla farming, but that's the other, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Check this out. Little woodpecker action here. I have heard the woodpeckers while I've been out here. Kind of a fun little thing to know about if you have a bug out location, or maybe there's, we got some wood ear here. Check this out. Last year, same green corn. Yep. That there, I can put my finger right near it. That is a wood ear mushroom. That is edible. Hey, Angie. Not the best tasting, but not horrible from what I understand. And I keep checking this log because this is where I saw them last year, so it's good to see they're blooming again. Whoops, sorry. Now, I've had some friends who are park rangers, and I've been told that park rangers, whether they have one acre or 1,000 acres that they're responsible for, they know every inch of that land. So just be aware of that. Even if you're somebody like me who likes to go off trail a little bit, and from what I understand, they can tell if you are, a lot of people in the survival forums and things like that will talk about, hey, Cheryl's Frugal, hey, Silver International. Yes, definitely. Yeah, I always like, if I see something that is interesting edible wise or medicinal wise, I try to make a note of it, and then I can see if it's coming back or propagating or whatever. But the rangers do kind of, from what I understand, they know if somebody's been burying a cache out there, because a lot of the survival forums will talk about, you need to cache some survival gear, on the way to your bug out location or whatever. And from what I can tell, they can tell if you've been doing that. So good luck, and they can tell if you've been digging, things like that. So do all of that at your own risk. It's, of course, in most cases, doing stuff like that is going to get you into some trouble if you get caught. But that's guerrilla gardening, and I think it is really cool. Part of you guys know I have a lot of empathy for people who are displaced and houseless. So I say, my personal feelings on it is if they can go out and find a spot to grow a little bit of food, be a little bit more independent, a little bit less dependent on the system to meet their needs, good for them. That's what I say. Now, I don't want them completely disrupting and like, you know, like this is a beautiful area I have here. I'd be a little bit annoyed if somebody came in and was clearing this out to make a garden. Like that's not the intent of it. So be respectful, be sustainable, you know, be aware. You know, you don't want to, and so much agriculture actually can destroy land too. So you always want to be kind of careful about that. Now, I got a question on one of my other videos about young leaves. So a lot of times when I talk about these wild edibles, put a camera up to wildlife. Like a turkey camera or a trail camera, I have not done that. I probably could have had some interesting footage when I had my farm, because it was a little mini farm. I had like 8 acres, and I know we had a lot of stuff on there, coyotes, turkeys, things like that. Oh, cool. Are you going to do a video on that, Kentucky Survivalist? I'd like to see that. I on one of my videos, or a couple of my videos, I talk about eating the young leaves, and I got a couple times now people have asked me what do I mean by young leaves. So I'm going to flip the camera here and try to explain that a little bit better. All right, so that's our friend false hawksbeard, and this is definitely not young leaves. In fact, once it goes from yellow to that white, yeah, good luck. I can't find any morels here. They just don't exist where I'm at. When this plant goes to like the downy seeds, like a dandelion, it's definitely an adult. So these leaves, could you eat them? I've read that yes, you could eat them in small quantities and chop it up like a spice to flavor something. But let's see if we can find some young leaves here, and I think I did right here. Okay, so this is the same plant, okay, but you can see that those haven't even fully bloomed yet. It's also knowledge. I'm always amazed at how many people buy nuts in the grocery store. Yep, absolutely. Actually, I've got a black walnut tree growing on my property, and I took a picture. There was a squirrel up there guarding his black walnut tree. I need to put that up on Instagram. I can't find elderberries here. I wish I could, but this one's kind of younger. You can see the flowers haven't even opened yet, except for that one. So this would be what I would consider young leaves. Okay, so it's less than a finger length. Okay, and even more so. Look at this one here. Let's see if I can get you. There's not even a flower coming up yet, so that's a really young leaf. Okay, so when I'm talking about young leaves, take a look at that and how big that is versus that. Okay, it's kind of one of those things that when you get to identifying the plants, you'll get a better feeling for, is that a young leaf, a juvenile, or an adult. So in the beginning, you definitely, you're probably not going to eat a lot of the stuff that you find at first anyways. Sorry, the pollen's bad. So you're probably not going to be eating a lot of the stuff you find at first. You're really focusing on identifying it and being positive on your identifying it. And then when you do start to if you're 100% sure, this is the part where when I did my podcast interview with Morgan, we really wanted to emphasize to people that make sure you're 100% sure before you start putting these things in your body. If you did, start small. Now that's not to say, like she was talking about, hey Adrian and Nico, good to see you guys. She was talking about how that's called the survival test. And neither of us recommend that you do the survival test. In fact, I hate to even bring it up on my channel because I think people could misunderstand it. Yep, 100% sure. You gotta be 100% sure. So the survival test was basically, think back more to like, you chew. All right, I love it, Cheryl's Frugal. That's great. You got to think to like the pioneer days, right? So like when pioneers were crossing the country and they didn't really know what some of these plants were, and they were learning, and there might not have been a guide to tell them. Yeah, exactly, Adrian and Nico. Why would you take the risk? So what they would do is they would rub a little bit like on the inside of their wrist, and then they'd take a little bit and they'd touch it to their tongue, and then they'd wait a couple hours, see how that goes. We don't recommend that at all. In fact, if you see that coming up on like any survival boards or anything like that, That's not something that I would stand behind. There's no reason to take that risk right now. With all of the resources that are out there, with Google Images, with all of the books that you can get, and I always link books in a lot of my foraging videos in the description, books that I recommend. There's no reason to put your health at risk like that. So you got to be 100% sure. There's no reason to do this survival test unless, if we get into a situation that's so bad that like you're the last person on earth and you want to go for it. But even then, I probably would stick to stuff that I was 100% sure. Know your area. I always, I try to tell people to learn 5 wild edibles in your area that you can find easily, that you can spot and get really confident with that. And you are already way ahead of the pack, right? If you go hiking in a certain area, know the ones in that area and just, get real familiar with them. Know the parts of it that are edible. Know how to prepare it, because some of these you have to cook. Some of them you can't eat raw. And, oh, look at this. There must have been an Easter egg on hunt out here. Some kid missed that one. Let's see if there's anything in it. Look at that. All right, sorry for the camera shake here. Let's see what this says. Look at this. There's money. Holy smokes, guys. There's money in here. It says, to whoever find this, here's a gift from me to you. How much money did they leave us? That's awesome. Dude, that's a $5. Oh my gosh. My day just got better, y'all. Check that out. Okay, so just because I believe in paying it forward, I'm gonna take that $5. That's awesome, huh? I'm gonna take that $5, but I'm gonna also take this egg, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna leave something for somebody else, and I'll give that maybe some silver coins or something like that. But that is so cool that somebody left that out there. All right, see, the day's getting better already. Are you guys having a good Tuesday? I swear to you, I did not plant that there. Yes, that's coffee money, exactly. Yeah, definitely pay it forward, right? I definitely believe in that kind of spirituality, right? You get back what you put out into life. There's so much good in the world. Yeah, and it's easy, Adrian and Nico, you're right. And it's easy to see the not good stuff, right? I was thinking about this morning when I was watching the news, that I usually, part of my morning routine, you can't fake that spot. That's right. I was watching the news this morning, and I was just like, after having my coffee and watching the news, I kind of got a little depressed. Like, it's just always bad stuff on the news. And every once in a while, they'll throw you a bone and give you a good story of like somebody did something good for the world or for somebody else. But it's like 1 out of 100. Like, you'll get 99 bad stories and 1 good story. And actually, I can tell you as a therapist, part of what happens with that. Oh, look at this, another little treasure. Check this out. That, I believe, is a hawk's feather. And in some cultures, finding a feather means a message from heaven. So I'll take it. There is a lot of good stuff out there. But because the news sells on the bad stuff, it's easy for people to start to think that there's a lot more bad than good. And I see this in therapy a lot of times with the patients that I'm working with. They just feel like, the whole world is hopeless and doomed, because it's easier to see the darkness, right? So was it, trying to think of the lyrics, Indigo Girls, this has been an awesome walk. Furthermore. Yep, I'll talk about the feather. There's a little squirrel out there. My ADD is going crazy now. All right, so, the Indigo Girls have a song that's called The Darkness Has This Hunger That's Insatiable, and the lightness has a call that's hard to hear. And that's very much true. It's hard to see the good stuff in the world, so you have to amplify it. And I know some of these people in the chat here that you've been chatting with me for a while. We've been developing some online friendships, so I know how much goodness there is in all of you. Amplify that out. Amplify it out for the world so that people see that there is a lot of good. So let's switch back to the feather here for a second. All right, so I don't know where it comes from, but both myself and my wife have talked about that. We grew up with that legend that if you heard, that if you found a feather, it was a message from heaven. I used to collect them and do like crafts and stuff with them, cool things like that. We had a lot when I had the farm. I'm just gonna leave this one be so that somebody else can find it. But I don't know where it came from, to be honest with you. But both my wife and I, if we find one in the yard or whatever, we'll say, oh, okay, maybe a little message from your mom or mine. Both of our moms are up in heaven now. So it's just kind of a nice way to think about that. But yeah, I mean, you could, from a practical standpoint, you definitely could make some things with that. You can make some fletching for arrows and things like that. We'll leave that be since we've already been blessed with a $5 bill today. But it's amazing what kind of treasures you find out here. If you guys are on Instagram, you might have saw that squirrel skull that we found. I was trying to figure out what that was. I thought maybe it was a rat. First I thought it was a snake. It's not a snake skull. And then I thought maybe it was a rat. It's not a rat skull. Turns out we think it was probably a squirrel skull. It was a small one too, so it must have been kind of a juvenile. But returning to the forest where he fed some of the life here. Absolutely, absolutely. It's a nice little thought, isn't it? All right. Sorry, I got a couple messages coming through. So we're at the 22-minute mark. I'm gonna start to wind this down. And you guys know so in my live streams, I like for people to tell me about what videos you have coming this week. So this is a good time if you want to tell me what you got coming out. Especially years ago, and they were card attached to the package. Oh wow, that's cool. If you guys got any videos coming out that you want to talk about, you can tell me about them now. And tonight I've got a video coming out that is kind of a, yes, I've heard something similar to that, Miss Southern Belle. Or releasing them, or writing them on a stone and throwing it into a pond, things like that. Oh wow, that's really cool. That's a really cool spiritual coincidence, right? White feather is a message from heaven. All right, and by the way, Silver International is across the ocean, y'all. So, hey, Sherry Ward. So apparently that feather legend is not just a United States thing. So, Adrian and Nico is asking Miss Southern Belle about the burning the messages and what that means. So tonight I've got that video coming for, it's going to launch at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. If I can, I'll try to turn it into a premiere so we can do a little chat. It's going to depend on what's going on at the house tonight. But it's basically it's a response to the storyline that Bricktown Silver's got going. Thank you so much. I appreciate that feedback, guys. So if you haven't been following Bricktown Silver, please go check out his channel. It's actually one of my favorite channels on YouTube. He is hilarious, and he's got this ongoing storyline where he's always throwing little digs at inefficient stacker. It is so funny. So I kind of jumped in on that a little bit. And then, what do I got Friday? I loaded something up for Friday. Friday at 8:30 p.m. It'll come back to me. It's a seeds video about your garden seeds and stuff. It's not too late if you're thinking about growing a garden. You still have time. in most parts of the world, you still have time to order your seeds and get something started. So that's Friday. I got a video coming about that. And you guys know that I'm a big supporter of put a prayer on paper and burn it and turn it over to God. I've heard similar to that, Miss Southern Belle. I've heard about people, you know, writing stuff on a stone and then throwing it in a pond, or those lanterns that you release up into the air, different things like that. But I'm a big fan of Pinetree Garden Seeds, and their website is www.superseeds.com. So you'll hear me talking about them more and more as time goes on. If you still need seeds, you can go there and use my coupon code. It's SARGE10. You'll get 10% off orders $20 or more. But don't go out in the woods and do guerrilla gardening with them, because I told you not to do that, okay? Just for the record, for YouTube and the legal history, I have told you not to do guerrilla gardening because it's illegal, and don't do it, okay? All right, definitely don't do that. All right, I gotta wrap this up, y'all. I gotta get back to work. I hope you all are having an awesome Tuesday. I will try to catch everybody's videos. I love that, Miss Southern Belle. I hope you all have a great week. Thank you so much for joining in for Hey Mad Stacker. I'm wrapping up, buddy. You can catch the recap. No morels here. I'm too close to the coast. I've been looking for morels for, you're very welcome. Thank you for joining in. I've been looking for 4 years and I have not found a single morel. I've come to accept that they don't grow this close to the South Carolina coast. I have to go inland a little bit. Thank you guys. Thank you, everybody. So everybody have a good Tuesday. If I can launch it as a premiere tonight, I'll see you in chat. If not, then it'll launch as regular. And Friday, I've got another video. I'll check out everybody's channels and everybody's new videos. Please go ahead and check out each other's videos too. Give each other that small YouTuber support that I know you all are good at, and spread the positivity. It definitely amplify the light, amplify the good stuff out there, okay? And I will see you next time. Keep planting your seeds, keep stacking your silver, and do not do guerrilla gardening, okay? And if you do, just don't blame me for it, okay? Or don't associate me with it, because it was just a satire. All right, have a good day, guys.